Hey everyone, I'm Karlyn Borysenko with Decode the Left. I am doing this live stream over on my Substack. That is Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. This is an exclusive live stream. You can participate by downloading the Substack app, making sure it's on your phone. You will get a notification when I go live on Substack, which I do intermittently throughout the week when I have availability to do so. So I want to encourage everyone that's watching this, maybe on demand, come join us for a live stream on the Substack. I mean, there's just so much to talk about and download right now. It's been so busy the last couple days. My head is hurting. I'm exhausted. I'm looking at updates from all over the country all the time, but I'm doing my very best to bring you guys the information that I think you need to know about the Los Angeles riots, the protesting, and of course, all things far left. If you appreciate the work I'm doing, please make sure you are supporting it. If you are financially able to do so, the best way is by going on the Substack, signing up for a membership of $8 a month, $80 a year. I am an independent journalist and analyst. I am 100% funded by people like you. I do not work for any political organization. I do not take any political money. My only job is to show up and to tell you the truth and to show you the receipts, and then you can decide for yourself what you think about it. Everything I tell you guys is grounded in what I've seen leftists saying and doing, either on the internet or in their documents or in person or any of those things, and you're always welcome to ask me for receipts to back up every single thing that I say, and I'll do my very best to provide them. Or I'll admit I don't have them, but I almost always have them. So I've been talking about this, and first of all, can I just say something? Can I just say, I've been covering the far left for years now. Some of you have been following my work for an extremely long period of time. I have never seen the amount of interest in my work as I've seen in the last several days. And I know it's one of those things where I happen to be in the right place at the right time covering the subject that no one else is covering. But can I just say, okay, as much as we are entering protest season, we are entering riot season, and I knew this was going to happen. I've been predicting this. I've been predicting this for months and months and months. But I have to say that it has been more than a little bit validating the past couple days, and I'm honestly kind of a little emotional about it because I feel like I've been screaming into the ether about this stuff and no one has listened. And I know that it's not true that no one's listening, right? But now a lot more people are listening and a lot more people are paying attention. And I want to extend a big welcome to all the new people who may have found my work in the past couple days. Welcome. We're really glad you're here. We want to help you understand all this stuff. And but it's really exciting and it's really validating. And again, as much as I don't like my predictions being right in terms of I've been saying this rioting was going to happen for months, it is also proof that my methods of analysis work. There's no one else doing analysis on the left like I am. I am the only one going into their primary source documents, their trainings, watching all of it from start to finish. Many of you guys have been doing it with me. And it's really validating that the research methods and the analysis methods that I have work where no one else was predicting this that I know of, except for me, because I'm the only one doing this type of qualitative analysis on the left. So it's good. It's good. It's good when your ideas work. It's good when things work out the way you never quite know. It's like I'm trying to predict the future in a lot of cases, and human beings are complicated. It's not always easy to predict the future. But I feel like I've done a fairly good job, and I think I've done better than most. And I'm really grateful for people that made this possible by supporting my work for years and years and years. And to all the new people who are coming on board, we're going to show you things about the left that you never knew were happening because your conservative influencers don't report on them ever. So here's the thing. I was not as worried about the size of the protests this weekend until yesterday. Now listen, the No Kings protest has been planned for a while. And this is the big nationwide protest that people know about that I've been covering on the YouTube channel. I've been doing the spy streams into their organizing meetings and stuff like that. The No Kings national protest has been planned for a while. And in addition to that, it's just the next protest in a long line of protests that these groups have been doing all year. I knew that it would have over 1,000 events nationwide, but quite frankly, their protest last month had over 1,000 events nationwide as well. I didn't anticipate that they would more than double the amount of events from last month, which they have. We heard on their organizing meeting the last couple days, there are at least 1,900 events all over the country on Saturday. And I think based on what I've seen in the past 24 hours, I think the turnout on Saturday is going to be massive. I think it's going to be massive. You know, people were all confused about why the left wasn't protesting when Donald Trump took office. I'm going to give you a very easy explanation. It was cold. Trump didn't even have the inauguration outside. No, and I know there were these massive protests in 2016, but we all have to recognize 2016 is an anomaly that, something like that is very, very, very difficult to replicate. That is not an indication of if the left is passionate or if the left is engaged or if the left is organizing or any of those things. It is on almost Herculean feat to replicate something like that, but that doesn't mean they aren't organizing, and it doesn't mean they weren't thinking about this. I do believe there was a time period that the left was a little demoralized after the election where they're like, oh, okay, here we go again. But I always knew they were always going to do something, and that something was going to come when the weather got warmer because no one wants to protest in the winter. Okay? And so I think it's important that people understand that what we are seeing now is the buildup of what has been happening all year. There have been smaller protests all year. Antifa has been doing smaller direct actions all year. There was the campus encampments, the Free Palestine group. They've been organizing together for, years now. All of these things build on each other, and then all of a sudden they start to explode as soon as the weather gets warm. I think that the turnout we're going to see this weekend is going to be the largest turnout for a protest that we've seen in a very long time. I think you're going to have the full spectrum of leftists at this protest, everything from disaffected Democrats and liberals and progressives and people who legitimately just want to be good people, kind of like the useful idiots of the world. They're going to show up. I think the hippie socialists and the anti-war people are going to show up. I think the unions are going to show up. I think the pride people are going to show up. The protests are overlapping with pride events in some cases. I think that we're going to see, obviously, the immigrant rights group show up. The people who are opposing deportation are going to show up. And then you're going to have the radical revolutionary group show up as well. And so there's a perfect storm right now. And leftist media is looking for coverage. They are looking for content. And all of these different things are coming together at exactly the same time. And I think we're about to see the largest demonstration of protest that we've seen probably in at least 4 years, if not even longer than that. So everyone should get ready for that, and everyone should be prepared. And listen, I kind of hope that I'm wrong on this one, but you got to understand, yesterday, there were protests. There were large protests in several major cities yesterday. There was large protests in Boston, in New York, in Chicago, in Los Angeles, of course. There was Antifa was rioting up and down in Seattle. Columbus, Ohio had protests. Milwaukee had protests. I'm pretty sure something happened in Phoenix. All of these things there Atlanta. Let's not forget Atlanta. Antifa was violent in Atlanta last night. And I wasn't worried about the turnout this weekend until I saw they had thousands of people at some of these protests in the middle of the week. Now, to give some people some perspective, if you look at conservatives and MAGA voters and the political right, unless there is a Donald Trump rally, which does happen, of course, and of course you see Trump bring out these big crowds to the Donald Trump rallies, but unless it's a Donald Trump rally, conservatives and right-wingers do not show up to protest. I know this. I have toured the protest and rally circuit on the conservative side. They don't show up. I'm not saying that to make anyone feel bad, but I'm saying it because people have got to understand the fact that the left can, at a moment's notice, bring out hundreds of people, thousands of people on a Tuesday night. On a Tuesday evening, a Tuesday night. That is impressive. And don't anyone dare come at me with, they don't have jobs, we have jobs. Well, no, the left does have jobs. I hate this refrain from conservatives because it's just an excuse to not do anything. You're saying, well, we're so overworked and so busy and the left just doesn't do anything. The left has jobs, guys. One of the major places that the left organizes and recruits is the unions. We've seen the unions out all week. One of the major unions, the service workers, something SEIU, something like that. The Service Workers International Union is one of the main unions that's running around in Los Angeles right now. The United Auto Workers has a whole section for graduate students and for faculty members. They've been heavily involved in the campus protests and the Free Palestine protests. You have the AFL-CIO involved. And so don't come at me with the left doesn't have jobs. Not only do they have jobs, they are in the unions organizing and recruiting in the unions, and they're using the unions to organize these protests. Reagan looked it up, Service Employees International Union. Thank you, Reagan. That's been one of the things at the epicenter of this immigration protest, because the president of the Service Workers International Union got carted off and they wanted to deport him. And, probably would have been better if they did, but they didn't. And so that's been one of the controversies. So not only does the left have jobs, but the left organizes and protests in their free time, and they make time for this. Listen, one of the major groups organizing for these protests is the teachers' unions. I'm thinking of the Chicago Teachers Union specifically. The Chicago Teachers Union was heavily involved in organizing the May Day protests in Chicago. They got teachers to leave their jobs to go out into the street and protest to prove that they could on a weekday. And so don't tell me they don't have jobs. They're teaching your kids in public schools, right? This is a fundamentally different mindset between the right and the left, where the left is, and this is why the left constantly wins even when they don't have political power, is they are willing to get off the couch and to go to a protest and to go to a rally. And the right has an absolute aversion to doing these things because the right believes that only leftists go to protests and only leftists go to rallies. Well, guess what, guys? Collective power isn't just it is actually a thing. This is how you get things done. If you're just going to sit at home and not do anything, then you have to expect that the people who are not sitting at home to do nothing are going to win, because they're the ones going out and doing things in the real world. I digress, because now someone's going to ask me, well, Karlyn, what do you want us to do? And I'm going to say, I want you to learn as much about the left as possible. I want you to go and teach other people in your community. That is actually how we beat the left. You have to unlearn every single thing you think you know about them, learn the real stuff, learn what they're actually doing, learn about your enemy, and then go out into the world and teach people. That's why I do what I do on the Substack and creating as much content as I do, explaining this and breaking it down, because I went in deep with their organizations and studied them for 4 years from every possible angle so that you guys don't have to. And I'm giving you the information, okay, for a reason. So is there going to be violence at the protest this weekend? Yeah, probably, but not everywhere. Not everywhere. A lot of the protests this weekend are going to be just smaller little events. They're going to be little gatherings. Someone was asking me in New Hampshire, because I'm in New Hampshire. Someone was asking me in New Hampshire yesterday. They were like, Karlyn, do we need to be afraid of any of the protests in New Hampshire? And I said, well, probably not. You're going to be sitting around some woman's house and doing a knitting circle or something like that. You're going to be doing a meeting. You're not going to be doing a protest. There are a lot of places these No Kings protests are in the country where there's going to be no violence and it's going to be completely peaceful. And by the way, guys, the people organizing the No Kings protest actually do have a track record with doing relatively peaceful protests. I just posted a video. I haven't posted it on the Substack yet, but I posted it on YouTube and Twitter, and I'll get it uploaded to the Substack, explaining the difference between the No Kings protesters and the people rioting in Los Angeles. They're not the same groups. They're not the same groups at all. The people doing the No Kings protests actually do have a record of holding peaceful events. They might be shouting and chanting and they might be annoying, but for the most part, they don't actually get violent. So I've actually had a bunch of people contacting me saying I one near my house isn't going to be dangerous. Probably not. Probably not. Now, if you live in a blue city like Philadelphia or Boston or New York or Seattle or Portland or San Francisco or Chicago or Minneapolis. Oh God, Minneapolis is going to get lit. Los Angeles, San Diego. You guys know all the major blue cities. If you live in a blue city and you are near one of the protests, maybe just stay home. Maybe just don't get involved. For the most part, I do not believe they're going to be dangerous during the day. There might be some skirmishes here and there. But I would expect the danger to happen at night, because Antifa might be there during the day, but if Antifa is in the city that these protests are in, they are 1,000% going to come out at night. So I would highly recommend to people, don't be out at night. And if you do have to be out, do not instigate them. Do not instigate Antifa. I have to give this warning every time I talk about this topic because there's so many people who are just looking for clickbait content on the internet. And I know I've got at least one person that's going to watch this video that thinks I'm going to go to these protests and own the libs and I'm going to get them on camera saying they don't even know why they're protesting. Do not instigate these people. If you do instigate these people and you get the shit kicked out of you, then look in the mirror and know that it was your fault because I told you not to do it. These are dangerous people, guys. These are serious people. These are radical, violent, militant revolutionaries. These are not liberals. These are not progressives. This is another reason I always try to hammer home the difference. Liberals and progressives are not going to kick the shit out of you and have no problem doing it. Antifa will kick the shit out of you and have no problem doing it, okay? So please don't instigate. Please be safe. I think that we are going to kick off protest season for the country this weekend, and I don't know how long it'll last, and I don't know how bad it's going to get, but I do think it'll last a while, and I do think it's going to get very, very, very bad. And I think that people should be prepared about that. I will try to do as much coverage as I can do. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do this right now because the easiest place to do breaking news coverage is on Twitter or X. Mary Jo Johnson says people died in Seattle. Yeah, people have died. People have died messing around with Antifa, for real. I'm trying to figure out the way to get breaking news out in a cohesive way. Typically, I end up producing more of my content. I just do a little editing around it and I, try to make it nice for you guys. I hope that you guys don't mind that I'm doing more rapid fire content lately. Like I'm just doing these live streams or I'm just doing a video or something like that. I'm doing less written articles just because there's so much information right now that I'm just trying to get out as much information as I can. I'm putting it on the Substack. I'm putting it on my Twitter. I'm putting it on my YouTube channel, all that stuff to get the information out to you guys. I hope you guys will forgive me if it's a little less produced for a while, just because you guys thought I was busy and had information overload before. We're on a whole new level now, ladies and gentlemen. And in some ways, that's really good because it's forcing me to build systems to be able to do this stuff that is going to help us track the left moving forward. So I'm doing the best I can. I want everyone to know that if you have questions at any time, please feel free to ask them. There's no stupid questions. And especially for new people, there's no stupid questions. Melissa says, this is my first Substack Live. I'm here for it. Thank you, Melissa. This will also get uploaded to the Decode the Left podcast, which you can find on Apple and Spotify and I think other places as well. And I will be going live today. I might go live a little bit after 5. There's a couple kind of things I want to look into before I go live. We will be watching an organizing meeting today. There's a billionaire power grab live stream at 8 p.m. tonight. And the billionaire power grab live stream was already scheduled before the riots. And I'm kind of interested to watch that. There is some No Kings organizing stuff tonight, but I think we might do this billionaire power grab thing instead. Also, keep a lookout. You guys can help. One of the things you guys can really do to help me, there are all of these different organizing meetings popping up that you might hear about on social media. Either your friends are posting about them or you see them on Twitter or something like that. If you guys see any leftist organizing meetings, let me know. You can DM me on Substack. I do read the DMs on Substack. I'm not always great about answering all the DMs on Substack, but I do read DMs on Substack. So if you're on Substack, just DM me the information. We might be able to go in and infiltrate it live. The more meetings that we have that we're looking into, the more we're going to find out what they're doing. The left is a completely decentralized operation. So they have all these different groups. They're doing all this different organizing. What we want to try to do is figure out how these groups are working together sometimes and when they're not working together too. That's also valuable information. So I hope everyone's ready for this weekend. I'm going to continue to do coverage. I will try to get as much out to you guys when I know it. The very best place to find the most up-to-date information right now is on my Twitter. I probably should be posting this on Notes too on Substack. I probably should be doing that. I'm going to try to do a better job of that for people who are only on Substack. But follow me on Twitter at Dr. Karlyn B. Make sure you are subscribed to me on YouTube or on Rumble. The chat is much better on YouTube if you want to come join us in the chat over on YouTube. I stream Monday through Friday around about 5 p.m. Eastern time. We do Socialism Saturdays on Saturdays at 6 p.m. I am probably going to be going to the Boston event this weekend. I'm bringing my husband with me, so don't and no one freak out. I am bringing my husband. And I'm not going to look like this when I'm at the event either. I'll tell you that right now. But I am probably going to be going to the Boston event unless it rains. Because I'm not going out in the rain for this. I'm not I'm not going out in the rain for this. But like if so Boston is going to be a pride event plus a No Kings protest. It's going to be on the Boston Common. And I'm not going to stay there after dark because I don't want to get the shit kicked out of me. So that is my plan. Hopefully I'll be home on Saturday for Socialism Saturday. And like I said, I'm gonna wear this. I'm not gonna look like this. You're not. If you're in Boston and you think you're out, you're like, I'm gonna hunt down Karlyn and beat the shit out of her. No, bitch. I'm gonna be wearing a disguise. Please, you're not gonna recognize me. Are you kidding? I am a professional. I go undercover with the left professionally. No one has ever recognized me at a leftist event, even though they all know who I am. So I appreciate you guys. You want to see Victor in a disguise? Well, I'll have to get Victor a disguise as well. You're right about that. Actually, not do people even know Victor? Victor isn't even really on the internet. I don't know. This is like one of those benefits where like it's good to not have my husband on the internet because my husband can be with me at events and yeah, Sophie did almost recognize me. That's true. All right, guys, that is all I have for right now. I know it's a short stream for today. I do have to go get ready for my live stream and figure out what we're going to be streaming today. I think we're going to look at some Antifa direct action material today, some old stuff, but it's like highly relevant to what's going on. And so I think I kind of want to look at that. So come join me on YouTube, X, and Rumble, round about 5 p.m., maybe a little later today. We're also going to be streaming an organizing call at 8 p.m., really full schedule, but lots of, am I supposed to call riots exciting? Protests exciting? Exciting from a content standpoint. Perhaps not for a sanctity of the American Union standpoint. But guys, if you can support my work, please do so. I'm over on Substack, Karlyn, Karlyn.substack.com. You can support my work there for $8 a month, $80 a year. If you are trying to get in touch with me for some reason, head over to my website, Decode the Left. It's decodetheleft.com. Go to the contact button. You'll fill out a form. You can get in. People have been asking to get in touch with me. They're like, you don't have an email. I'm like, I have a whole website. It's decodetheleft.com. You guys can get in touch with me there. You can DM me on Substack. You can DM me on Twitter. I'm pretty responsive to all of those things. So if you have information for me, get in touch on there. And I appreciate everyone already supporting my work. We're going to build a ton of content this summer. We're going to teach people a lot of stuff. Going to bring a lot of new people into the fold to show them what the real far left is doing. The more people we can educate about the far left, the better, guys. People ask all the time, what can we do to defeat the left? The first thing you have to do before you do anything else is learn about them as much as possible. Pull down all the narratives that you've ever been given by the media or the establishment or whatever, and just start looking at what the left is doing in the real world. Go to my Substack, go to the How to Speak Socialist section, watch the How to Speak Socialist presentation right at the top. That's a great first start. But you've got to learn deeply who your enemy is. These people are serious. They're not mentally ill. They're not narcissists. This is not a personality disorder. They have a completely different vision of the world, and they're trying to overthrow our entire way of life in this country in a very real way. And if we don't understand our enemy, we can't defeat them. That is the purpose of what I'm doing. Deeply understanding your enemy so you know where their weaknesses are, you know where their strengths are, you know who the people involved are, you know what the goal is, so that we can try to figure out a way to hopefully put a stop to the cultural revolution that we're all living through. Because I do think the left is going to win if we don't figure this out. And so please come on board, learn as much as you can. I will teach you, I will guide you. And I promise you, you will know what to do when you reach a certain level of fluency with what the left is doing. And I know that because I've seen it happen time and time again. So if you don't know what to do yet, come and learn. Learning is an active thing. It is a serious thing. It is a serious endeavor. We do take it very seriously on this channel. I'm saying seriously enough so that you know I'm serious about this, seriously. Anyway, I'm going to go get ready to stream and figure out what we're looking at today. I will see you guys over there. Thank you guys for allowing me to do what I do. And more to come very soon. Take care, guys.